Thank you. Piero Cipollone, World Bank. 3 quick questions. I didn't see any comment about wages. Why the wages are out of the picture in this discussion? All of you talked about quantities, no one about prices. Why real wages are no longer part of the analysis? Second question is for Stefano. The 2 models that adopt really seriously the flexibility strategy of the job creation strategy of the OECD, which is about to celebrate 20 years, say Italy and Spain, are the least resilient. It's about time to rethink this idea that we need to have flexibility in the entry in the labor market. Or third question is for Mr. Braga. He was talking about income distribution and growth. This is a really serious part of rethinking. We see that we used to think about growth reducing income distribution. We now a changing view. Is income distribution an essential tool to increase the growth? How income distribution can actually help country to grow, contrary to what we were used to think about? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Fabrizio Nida here.
Fabrizio Nida, sorry for my voice. Structural employment policies and industrial policies are interconnected, to my view. And my point is why economists are rediscovering the scope for industrial policies. Number one, because the competition policy is necessary, of course, to fight inefficiency and rents, but are not enough to improve the growth of high value-added sectors. Carlos Braga already made a reference to this point. We have very many emerging countries, not only China, that are pushing to higher value-added, to discover new comparative advantages. This is the first point, the first reason. The second is, as it has been suggested by some economists, that companies need some involvement of government in order to discovering what their capability of entering new sectors. That is, there are investments that are too risky, too far away in their rate of return, and they need some targeting, of course not the Soviet type planning, but some targeting with a partnership between public and private sector. Third, there are a lot of externalities. Industrial policies start from externalities or spillovers, from increasing the ability to make research, to enter dynamic sectors, to improve new competitive advantages. There are a lot of spillovers, externalities that create ultimately higher growth of GDP, higher growth of employment. So my point is, why maybe there is some delay in rediscovering these aspects of industrial policies that for many years have been almost cancelled from the vocabulary of economists. Now today, fortunately, in my opinion, they are rediscovering. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is a fourth question over there, then we will...
Ardian Fulani, Banca d'Albania. I have some questions now, but later on maybe some discussions. But posing these questions, I think is, first of all, has the crisis changed our potential output growth? Is our labor market able to and capable to generate competitive advantages in the global markets? Is our labor market aware of these changes happening these days? Have they changed in the incentives and expectations in the labor market? How do we transmit these signals into our labor markets and from them to the education system? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Actually, just building on the last comment, I think that people have a difficulty to understand why economists are saying, okay, the growth will come back, maybe slowly, but in few years we will go back to the GDP level that we had before the crisis. But no way to come back to the employment that we had before the crisis. This is very difficult for people to understand. Why could we have so many employees with a certain level of GDP, and why going back to the GDP level, the same GDP level, we will not have the same level of employment? Is because we were over-employing, in a sense, people, was because everybody was expecting future growth, or they were ready to hire people in expecting growth in future. What has been broken, in a sense, in this model? Let's start from the reverse order, if you don't mind. Elizabeth first.
Well, I think nothing has been broken in that sense, but certainly things have changed in the competitive situation in the world. So, for example, emerging markets have gotten stronger, which is particularly the case for the Central and Eastern European economies that are, as I said, integrated in production networks, so they face stronger competition from countries in the world that they haven't faced before.
So you mean that in these 3-4 years, we the OECD countries, in a sense, the developed countries, have lost a part of their market share in the world. This is in favor of emerging countries, and this is something that will not be gained again unless this happens in the long term. This is what you mean?
It may be gained in different segments of the economy. I think that there again also will be sort of an upgrading of the economy will be a necessary step to do that. So moving into higher skilled sectors, moving into more R&D intensive sectors. So it's not, doesn't mean that it won't happen again. It just is probably going to be quite difficult.
Do you have other comments in answering the questions?
Well, I think sort of there was this sort of, there were many different statements to the industrial policy. I think this sort of pertains particularly to this question, supporting sort of the increase of skilled labor, supporting R&D is also one important part of industrial policy that I think is particularly important at that stage. As far as why didn't we talk about wages and just about quantities, I think we talked mostly about the past, and we have to understand that this was really a very strong crisis where, for example, again, for a company that produces parts and supplies them to German car makers, it doesn't help them to reduce wages because there are no orders. So prices, I think, will, and in that sense wages, will play a more important role in the future, sort of in going back to a situation of sort of increased employment. But at that time of the crisis, it really wouldn't have helped because the quantity reaction was much stronger.